seems to be to have asked the legislature to pass their identical letter is anti-democratic. And let me tell you, you will bring the police, you will bring the PFU to guard the legislature. But an attempt for the legislature to pass their bill, we will politically quarantine the legislature. All of them have a district. An attempt to see them in a district, we will quarantine them. We say no to this letter, it's anti-democratic, they must be thrown away.
We have come I mean, it's use of power. Police brutality will engage them. The executive authority is going to do that.
You just said you are willing to challenge the police and
no, my man. Don't do that. Nobody disturbing here about what I do. Nobody disturbing here. I have a capacity yesterday. You have to call it a whole moon. I saw that picture.
When the masses of the people turn feelings secure, they will move into history, they will set the record straight, they will quarantine their lawmakers for ensuring that such bogus a policy today is being passed. Mind you now, the president have a deep fear with Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution. Let me say to you clearly, Article 1 is clear, the president is thinking politically. The president reliance of Article 1 is not because of elections. We are quite conscious about that. The president reliance about Article 1 is on the basis of the president is afraid. She's afraid that the magistrate want to move into human history. Amanda figure away to. Yo, we share the history. Yo. I want to be very clear to elaborate.
Firstly, let me begin by appreciating each and every member of the Democratic tent and the Liberian people who stood on our side of justice, ensuring that this Macabeth regime who tried to break the spirit of conscious revolutionaries. In prison, when I was invited by the Liberian National Police, they misconstrued the information and said I was arrested. I want to let the Liberian people to be informed at no point in time that I ever got arrested. On Monday, last week Monday, I work at the National Police Headquarters, being accompanied by Honorable Thomas Fowler. I was being made to know that I was invited for questioning for an alleged ID second substance at the CDC headquarters. Unfortunately for me, when I get at the national headquarters of the police, I witnessed a conspiracy that did not give me an opportunity to be questioned, that did not give me an opportunity to make a statement, but instead I was incarcerated when my lawyer requested for my person. They refused to tell me what my lawyer. I was placed behind bar.
Comments now. Yes, comments need to let people to understand it's not the money. It's not about the money. If this man is better than me, carry him. But I'll tell you that not everybody can say it. Not everybody got that wisdom. Some people just put the look. Some people don't want to even settle for. I put something on the internet. I say, why Cummings cannot contest the senatorial position? Everybody got pissed off. And then I made a comment. I said, listen, working in a corporation and to control a government are two different things. It's not the same.
Yep.
Corporation, you want to do everything to make profit. You don't give a damn. When you pass the law, you pass the law. But in government, they got three branches.
All right, guys. Good evening to every one of you guys there, and thank you so much for taking your time to come and be on the show tonight. This is Jay Randy here again, as always. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. We are back here, and this is what we're going to be doing. We are going to be giving you all the videos that some of you guys have forgotten about a long time. So all the people you're listening to, if you want to know where they were before, even when you were not around, we got those videos here. So tonight, what are we here for? We are here tonight to welcome you to another exciting conversation with Jay Randy on the Jay Randy Show. If you're just joining me here for the first time, well, welcome to the disagreeable guy who will not allow the old system of Liberia to change him. He will do his best by providing teaching to help Liberians understand why our country, after all these years, we cannot compete with Ghana, we cannot compete with Nigeria, we cannot compete with Rwanda, we cannot compete with nobody except ourselves. Why? Because we have never been able to figure out what we really want for ourselves. As we age into the generation Alpha, we from the generation of the generation X, the generation Y, the generation Z, we want to make sure that when that transition is taking place, we want to pass down the information that the pioneer generation did not pass down onto us. We are a country that has aged in years. We are a country that has changed a lot of generation. But when you look at the reality, we have done nothing in regards to our age, the generation that we have changed, and the generation we're looking forward to. So Jay Randy is not going to be liked by people who are politically connected, but not Liberia-centric. The centricity of Liberia means whatever is good for you should be good for all Liberians. It is difficult. We are in a very difficult time of our country transition. Many people who became victim of the war, victim of the elite system, victim of whatever their vested interests were, they are now willing to set the foundation for the future generation. Many of them are only fighting for themselves. And in our fight, our system of governance, we are a republic. Our system of governance is the democratic process. But in order to understand what we're supposed to be fighting for, we must have what I describe as what? A system in place that include the bottom, the middle, and the top. But we don't have the middle. We do have the middle, but the middle is a hybrid middle. We should have those who are coming up to be in the middle. That is the younger generation. In the middle of that, we must have the working class. And then at the top, we must have policy makers. In Liberia, we only got the political class and we have the common class. There is no middle class. The middle class is a hybrid class. That means Liberians who live outside of the country. Listening to me right now, whether you live in Europe, in the Americas, in Asia, you are part of the middle class. The only difference that we don't have a middle class, except for the political class and the common class, is because what you have achieved or what you continue to achieve, if you went back to Liberia today, you will not be able to do those things and you will reduce yourself down to the common class. So to maintain that class is to remain in the diaspora and begin to provide financial assistance. That is why most of the economic structure that hold our country up in terms of monetary support usually come from the diaspora, because the diaspora community is the working class, but they are in other countries. However, their contribution towards Liberia economic survival, whether it's relative business or whatever, it keep the country going. Should we live in that kind of environment, or should we be thinking about Ghana, thinking about Nigeria, where we have the opportunity that we can begin to build a middle class that Liberians will be present in the country? What will it provide? Job opportunity. Do you think any Liberian listening to me right now is connected to any political party is ready to listen to this thing here? Absolutely not. Because right now, everybody is in their own political corner because they feel that whatever he or she can get is what he or she going to give. All right? So let me see here. Now, let's just say a big thank you to every one of you guys. So tonight, what do we have here? Tonight, as always, this election should be about what? Identifying the issue or the problems, discussing the solution, and telling Liberians where the country is supposed to be with that identification of the issue or the problems, the solution, where the country is supposed to be. Tonight, we are going to listen to one of President Weah's message, and we're going to break it down. We are going to focus on what he's discussing. Did he identify the issue? Did he provide any solution? And where you think the country direction is heading? When we get done with Mr. Weah, we're going to bring in Joe Boyka. Joe Boyka had an interview. We're going to listen to Joe Boyka. We're going to listen to Joe Boyka explaining the challenges in the country. Why it is true that Mr. Weah is the current president. He ran on the 4 pillars. Whatever he says in that conversation he had with the people, we're going to listen to it, and Jay Rennie going to break it down for you. Boyka, on the other hand, I want to set this for you. Let me start again. President Weah, when he was Kennedy Weah, he ran on a 4-pillar agenda. On that 4 pillar, there were a lot of bullet points. You know it, and I know it, and I have it. Whatever Mr. Weah is going to discuss, wherever he goes, prior day, today, and tomorrow, whatever he says, I want you to not only look at that 4 pillars, but I want you to understand, because the 4 pillars that are within that platform, it contains the problems that Mr. Weah identified, the solution that he should be talking about now as part of the accomplishment, and the direction of the country. When we come to Joe Boyka, I want you to understand that Joe Boyka served under Ellen for 12 years. So Joe Boyka should be able to tell the Liberian people what he has seen Mr. Weah done for the past 6 years, what Ellen planned. Because remember, Joe Boyka and Ellen ran together. They got a record now. They got a 12-year record. So Joe Boyka should be able to discuss any question relative to any sector in our country that Mr. Weah is in charge of. Joe Boyka should specifically be able to tell you, for example, when we were there for 12 years, the Ministry of Education or the Ministry of Health or whatever agency, this is what we managed to do. We identified this problem. we provide a solution, and the direction is where we left it, but Mr. We are doing X, Y, and Z. So as Mr. Barker go through the QA section, those are things I want you to understand. So Barker, on the other hand, should be explaining about Ellen and him 12-year performance. That is a record that Joe Barker should be able to use to convince the Liberian people to get him the opportunity. There should be nothing that Joe Barker need to come away and say, let's reinvent the wheel. No. The people of Liberia put Joe Barker and Ellie in there because they believe that their first term, their second term were things that please them. So why can't Joe Barker go for back on those things and begin to remind the people that when we were there, this is what we did. Look at your left now and look at your left 12 years ago. Don't you think Joe Barker should be doing that? Absolutely. Joe Barker should be doing that because that is record. That is record. Some of you guys are in America here. What are you qualified to do? One, when you work somewhere, in order for you to get promotion, you say, I work here. I was here on time. I participated in this. You are signaling your record of performance to qualify you. The only person that will come outside with his or her performance record and they will defend it, it would be the day we bring Cummings out here. When Cummings come out here, he's not going to talk about anything as it relates to the government. Cummings will only be saying, I want to identify the problem we have. Here is my solution. And here's the direction. I'm only coming with Coca-Cola experience. And then we challenge that Coca-Cola experience based on what Cummings was able to do because he worked globally. What did he do in a role that will qualify him? So this platform, we are going to discuss the issue. We are going to discuss the solution, and we want to know the direction. Mr. Weir has already identified the problem. That's what the Liberian people saw in 2017 and said, oh, you identified the problem? Yes. Let's put him in there. Barker, yeah, you ain't anywhere here for 12 years. Huh? We didn't think you guys did a good job. Let's get you, we got a chance. Now, Barker is coming back. Is he going to tell Liberian people, say, I'm back here again? Let's get into it. Enough talking. Let's get into the conversation here, folks. Welcome to J. Randy's platform. This is the only platform that many Liberians will not come to watch because two things happening. They are not used to these kind of platforms that tell them the truth. They used to praise singing platform. Secondly, they don't like to hear the truth. And I don't hold them for that because none of the politicians teaching them the truth. Only when things are in their interest, then they can. Right now, if I say, oh, the platform for George Weah, the number will start like this. If I say the platform for Barker, the number will start like this. For comment, the number will start like this. So I understand you got a problem. All right? Until we understand that we must reach the age of maturity where we can see things and be able to say, yeah, this is wrong. And this is right. We are yet to go. But I can assure you, your daughter, your son, your grandchildren, where they in elementary school, middle school, senior high school, college, when they come from that level of understanding and they listen to J. Randy, they will say, yes, grandpa, daddy, this guy is saying the right thing. What will you be telling them? Well, I'm so politically, ethnically connected to the party, so I don't see the truth in them, my son. And I'm just like the American racist people in the South that don't think that black people should get together. That's the kind of feeling I have in politics. But your child would tell you, your son would tell you, say, daddy, no, you don't have to be that old people, right? That's who J. Randy is. Why? Because the same way you're enjoying America here, that the same way some of us are enjoying here. But the people back home, they need to understand. As the conversation forges ahead, it will not just be domestic politics. On the platform here, when we start looking at what Barker will be talking, now you're listening to me, because you're going to pick it up right now. You see, when I say things here, you need to be very, very attentive and pay attention. Right now, they're all talking about local politics. Next thing we'll start asking them, and we'll start it right now, what about the domestic politics? I mean, the international politics. What about the international policy? The international policy, not politics, but the international policy. Who has international policy? Do you agree with Russia or do you agree with the United States? Where do you stand? Where do you stand, Barker? Where do you stand, Cummings? When it comes to the issue of gay rights, where do you stand? When it comes to the issue of how do you call it? When it comes to the issue of or ECOWAS. Where do you stand on ECOWAS issue? This platform will educate Liberian people. You know, I'm glad that I'm not campaigning. So now, as we go through the phase, because right now it's the round robin, or how do you call it, round Robin Hood, something like that. Yes. So our platform is based on how the soccer game is played. You know, when they have a tournament, they got Group A, Group B, Group C. So now they got Joe, we are in Group A, Boca in Group B, coming in Group C. Now they're going to be playing each other. We'll be playing each other here. Now the way we play each other is we got our three bracket: the issue, the solution, and the direction. So who is actually identifying the issue, who is providing the solution, and who is providing the direction. So we got Boca, we got Cummins. So under the issue, we got to get a score there. Under the solution, we got to get a score. The direction, we got to get a score. So three of them, somebody will be on the top. And the way we will put each person in their own bracket is for us to listen to what they say, what makes sense, what did you understand, that you will call me here and say, yeah, Jay Randy, I think the president really talk about healthcare, the president talk about this. No, Jay Randy, whenever I listen to from Boca, I think Boca said this. And my friend, when we had the discussion, and the election go to the second round, and we finally selected, or election end in one round, and we either retain Josh Weah or put somebody there. After that, if any Liberian complain and say, oh, the people doing this, just ask them, say, were you on Jay Randy show? No, I see your problem now. Because you listen to the wrong people. Because on that show, everything that you complain about right now, the people on the street, Jay Randy was discussing it on that show, and he was telling us that your candidate was wrong, this candidate was right, but your one on the other side. So you guys are the problem because you're not holding your lawmaker, your public official feet to the fire. That is our overall goal. That is when a decision has been made by the Liberian people going forward. When they start to complain, then they own our complaint. They own our problem. And that is why we want to make sure that they understand from the platform in order to make what? An informed decision. All right? So let's get into the ball here. Too much of time now. So we're going to start with President Weah. Remember, as the president speaks, we're going to stop the tape and Jay Randy going to analyze. And then when we get done, we'll ask for the QA section, the question section, and then you'll call. And I want you to call. Please call. All right? Those of you going to be to the show, thank you. Your money is working now. We got the mark here. We got the conference call. You heard it yesterday when you were here. Please don't be a stranger. Don't be a statue. Don't be like this. Try to call and participate. Because when tomorrow comes, I will have to come for the video. Right now, we are broadcasting on YouTube. If you go to Jay Randy Free Voice, we are on YouTube. It's there. It's on my channel. Right now, we are live. So if you can't get it on Facebook, we'll be on YouTube. So please be part of history. Say, you know what? I listened to the 2023 campaign. I listened out for the campaign messages, and I was able to participate on the Jay Randy show. Go there. It's on YouTube. Go to social and so place. Try to make history, because that's the only legacy that you will have. This age and time we find ourselves in is not like the back of my feet in days where they never had nothing as such that we enjoying. So why would you want to sit down and not be a participant? You must be able to participate, and I'm encouraging you to do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jay Randy show, a show where we discuss the issue, look for a solution, and determine which direction we want to go. All right? So let's get into it right now. Are you ready? Yes, I'm sure you're ready. All right? So let's get into it. The first person here will be the President of the Republic of Liberia.
That's Thank you. Have your seat. Madam Clara Maria, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Vice President Dr. Joy Howard Taylor, Honorable Sir Joseph, Madam Honorable Josephine Davies, members of the Cabinet, other government officials here present, family and friends, the Weashens, all other auxiliaries, fellow Liberians, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Well, fellow citizens.
Now, Liberians, if you're watching this show along with me, as you can see, I'm paying attention. And the attention I'm paying right now, I am focused in listening to what the president is about to say. But what I have in my hands are my indicators. One, the issue. The issue that was identified in 2017, he is set for re-election. He needs to be able to tell us what has he done in regards to the issue. And that would be the solution. That would be the deliverable. And where does he see the country? Is he the one to take the country in the direction that he thinks the solution he providing to the problems? Those are the three things we're looking at. When we get to any political candidate, that is the same thing. The last thing I want to say to everyone here is, those that are around the president, they got to be very careful. You see the president pocket over there, when you look at the president, right over the blue mark there, why do they have the president putting that phone in his pocket around his breast area? That phone contains infrared. The president shouldn't be holding the phone. The president should be able to put that phone on the podium, or somebody very close to the president hold that phone. But the phone should not be interacting with the president's body. That is not a safe practice. That's just my instinct, because those are things that we do to prevent any sort of unwanted situation. So just thought to bring that, spoke on my instinct, but let's get to the president now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to our president right now.
Let me not take too much of your time. The campaign coordinator, Eugene Namwe, spoke very well. The vice president spoke very well. I will not waste your time. But what I want to say to you, I'm thankful to God that we are here today. And I want to thank you for the confidence reposed in me a few years ago. A few years ago, I was nobody, they said. You went to the polls and you make me somebody. I must say to you, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to show what I'm capable of doing. Remember, they tagged me as footballer. And they told you that for our country, it's a bad news. But I can tell you that in my life, I've never had bad news. Everything that is given to me to do, even when I was in the streets of Monrovia, I did it diligently and excellently. I've never failed before. Every responsibility I took, I did it well. And you gave me this responsibility to build our country, my friends and family. I'm doing it well. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I joined your struggle on May 30, 2005. Today, we are 18 years old in the people's struggle. I came forward, left my family, and came home to join you. You asked me to be a leader, and I did. I did not refuse. But I'm thanking you because you did not leave me on the wayside. You joined me for this country to be saved and for this country to be developed. I want to thank my dear wife for allowing me to join the Liberian people to restore. I remember vividly during the war when I was playing for the national team. She went with me to every refugee camp. She saw devastation, she saw everything, but she did not give up on me. She did not get angry. Why am I doing? Resources were taken from our comfort for the struggle. She protected me and she joined me. And Madam Uya, I want to tell you, my dear wife, you have done well for our people. And thank you. I know sometimes people that don't understand, they tag you, but don't worry. You got so many Liberian people that love you than the one that hate you. You got so many Liberian people that respect you than the one that curse you. My children joined me in 2005. Cham was a little boy. He was in the group that was talking, Cham is behind me. My entire family were ridiculed, but they joined you for the struggle. This is our struggle. And this is our time. This is the struggle we're in. I listened to my good friend, Dr. Joel Howard Taylor.
All right, so guys, what the president just explained is the relationship and the bond that he has made with the Liberian people and the sacrifices that he has made as a Liberian to take on this leadership. He has provided a feedback of appreciation to the people of Liberia. That is something that is well pinned by this president. You see, public service is an opportunity, is a privilege. Is a privilege. If you don't understand it, ask Joe Walker. The Liberian people gave them that privilege for 12 years. When he decided to go back for the next term, the people deny him. What the president just explained is about the bond that has existed between his party, the people of Liberia, and his family. He triangulated those three things and discussed it very, very well. What does that mean for us? Well, anybody who does something for you, you should be able to show appreciation back. But in all fairness, the president got more to do in terms of reaching back to people. Now, he is about now to get into the reason now why he believes that he should be re-elected. By starting not with himself now, but he's now going to let the Liberian people know about his vice president. All right? We are initiating this approach so that you can understand how we are going to carry out our analysis. The next time we meet George Weah again, we're not going to play this message like this. We're going to go straight to the point and then we'll be discussing it. But because this is the introduction of how we're going to conduct our analysis, we decided to allow this portion to be played. So let me progress here, folks.
Dr. Joel Howard Taylor, I told you I knew Joel in New York. Joel, I didn't know at that time she was the best friend of my elder sister, Wallo Weah. When I used to leave Monte Carlo and go to the States for vacation after our professional soccer, I see the two girls in my house. Where they came from, all I knew they were Liberian, so I paid my respect. I didn't know that Manager was going to be the first lady of the Republic of Liberia. But all in my life, when I knew her, I gave her maximum respect. Today, you brought me here to be your president. I encourage you to be my vice president. And don't listen to the naysayer. We have been working together very well. And that's why you see today that our government is doing very well. I want to tell you, my friends and family, I did nothing for you. You voted me in 2017. Today I've done so much, and I'm confident that you will vote me again.
All right, so let's hold the president right there. Let's hold the president right there. All right, let's hold the president right there. That comment is, I will say, it's a fair comment. All right, it's a fair comment, but I think it's more of a flattery comment. Yes, a flattery in the sense that he did do some stuff for the people of Liberia, but he's setting a conversation for his supporters to be able to defend him and not him defending himself. So when he said, I did nothing for you, but you put me into office, the good Samaritan work that he did, he don't want to be the one to come out to say, oh, before I became president, I did this, I did that, I did that. But he's trying to let us know that when he was not in this position he's in right now, he did not do anything, but he got elected. But we say this here, Mr. Weah did things for the people of Liberia, but he doesn't want to be the one to say it out there. But Sidician, you should be the one, Liberian, who experienced and saw him doing XYZ. They should be the one to say it. Let's make progress here. I just want to inject that into the conversation.
Again. To our first-time voters, I want you to thank your parents. When some of you were not born, your parents followed the struggle. They promoted the struggle, they helped us, they guided us. And because of them today, we are doing what we are doing for our country and for you. First-time voters, I was like you. It was difficult for me to get in school, but someone helped to pay my school fees. And today I'm the president. I wish at that time when I lived on Capitol Hill, I wish at that time I had the opportunity, but it was difficult. So today, I did what I did because I didn't want you to be in my position. In our time we struggled. We were from one garbage center to the street of Morovia because we could not get money to go to school. And these people tell us that we don't have experience, we are not educated. But today, you have a free school in Liberia and you have a YSP.
All right, so we're coming to the issue now. So right now he's talking about educational opportunity. In his platform, he mentioned about what? Youth and vocational education. So when he said, during our time, there were a lot of disadvantages that we experienced. And as president, I had done what I felt that I wasn't giving an opportunity to. Today, you have free education. You have free education, and this is something that we never had. On this topic, I give the president 70% over 100. Why? Because there should be statisticians that should be coming up with a report. Because what Joseph Walker could come back to say, Mr. Weah, you're saying things, but where is the fact? Where are the data? And then Mr. Weah should be able to say, you know why, Joe Walker, you were there for 12 years. When you left the educational opportunity for the people of Liberia 10% over 100. My 6 year has increased that by 20% different. So we are now averaging 10%, but it's just within 6 years. So while it is true that the president is saying these things, we want to see the actual data. We want to see the data. The data will even push the president ahead of Joe Walker, because we'll be asking Joe Walker, say, look, Joe, we have the president data here as it relates to education. But where is your Joe? You're not coming here to be a first-time runner who never participated in the government. You and Ellen worked together for 12 years. So all you need to do is whatever ministry that you and Ellen manage under your 12 years, you should be able to bring that data so we can compare it. Then the Liberian people will look at both data and they will look at their community and see individually, community-wise, county-wise, and the entire country and say, yes, we think Joe or President we are the best. So we gave the president 70 for announcing that. All right. But I want Liberian to understand, sometimes the opinion will matter, but it should be backed by documents. It should be backed by document. Every one of you guys here, you tell people you're going to work every day, but when you get to work, you got to clock in. That clocking in you're doing is an evidence that you actually at the place of work. Why the shooter, you can say, I'm at work, I'm doing this. You are being clocked by tracking your time in and out. So this is not bad for the president. It's good. But I just want you guys to understand that as we forge ahead, the president spoke about future generation. We want to be able to tell our young people that words are inadequate or it's not sufficient. Documentation should support those things as well. That will give it the 360. So those who are listening, there's still an opportunity. The president team should be able to have statisticians who will be able to provide a snapshot, a summary of everything he's saying, because Liberians, we are all of different category. Some people just hear the president say it's okay. Some people say I want to see evidence. Some people say I want to read it. Some people say I want to research it. All the different mindset of Liberian should be able to have something of their professional understanding to believe in that. So here we get the president 70%. We heard it several times. We know that it's happening, but we'd like to see those tracking documentation. And just to add to that, that's one of the reasons why the president needs to hold every minister or director accountable. They must have a plan. That plan should be monitored and it should generate report. Or not plan, but a program. Every ministry should be able to provide a program. That program should be implemented. That implementation should be monitored, evaluated, and come up with a report. That report will tell the Liberian people how much they spent on the program, what they managed to change, what are the challenges, and here are the report and what we're looking forward to do. Now, when Jay Randy come here to say, oh, the president saying this, president saying this, somebody who watches Randy can just send a link and say, Jay Randy, you have the link right here. Go check that link out, and I can read it. Then when I sit down with other people and say, hey, why you got me all the notes? The president already have said it. Here are the proof of the data. You go out there, go verify it. All right? So our democracy is still in the embryo stage, but to improve, the president is making progress. But to improve on that progress, we need to have something on paper. We need to have something on the website that people can go and see. You go to Kenya, you go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria, you will see this thing and people will say this thing and they wouldn't say it just for you to understand what they're doing. But if you actually need to verify, like we always say in America here, you can trust things, but you must go and verify. I know this is difficult. I know many Liberians don't understand this style of approach, but the reality there is that's why our country is behind. But in order for us to move our country forward, we must be able to accept these kinds of constructive criticism that will build us. So, for example, if the president gets re-elected, he said, look, I listened to Jay Randy and Minister, look, I just don't want to be talking, but sometimes I want you guys to understand that Liberians out there, this is the new world. We live in an internet age. We live in artificial technology. We live on social media. We need to make sure that our information are all over our different ministry and agency. Let us get more web developer that will develop our program, and that way we can speak to this thing and we can go and find it out. Because there will be people who will trust what we say, but they will have to verify these things. All right. So let me progress there. Again, this is a platform where we act like we in the classroom, we discuss things intellectually here. So I don't want people to come here with their feelings that no, we don't enforce feeling here. We want to try to provide awareness to the conversation here. So let me progress here. So the president education is fair. He did it. We saw it, but we need it to be written down. If he write it down, or the ministry write it down, or they have it somewhere on the website, we can come back and say, okay, we're moving the president from C, we carry the president to C plus or to B minus. But until those things are done, because those things are standard, the president cannot come to community or Liberian in America here or in Europe and say to the people, oh, we did it, we did this. You understand, my friend? He can't come and do that. We can't come and do that. All right? So we must have the documentation out there. So that made progress.
For me, it's an honor to do that. It's unprecedented. Not because it happened to me, it should happen to you. I've never had free school in my life. I live here, I left Liberia at 21 years old to go to Cameroon. But in my 21 years, it was difficult. And when I was in the 12th grade, I had no choice. Because then opportunity meets the actual life. I had to go at 12th grade. I went to Cameroon and I was playing for Tony and Yaoundé. In my life, I wanted to make sure that the country is developed. So today, what I'm doing is for you. Don't let nobody take it away from you.
All right, so let's start the president there. Why do we travel? We all travel to different countries, not to play football, right? But for what? Economic opportunities. Jay Randy, you see him sitting out here, just like you watching me wherever you are. Every one of us travel mainly for economic opportunity. Secondly, maybe for peace of mind, security, and others. The president, based on the system that was set up in place, there were no economic opportunity for what he really wanted to achieve. So while you were in the 12th grade, that opportunity came and he had to leave. In fact, the president left on Christmas Day. He left on Christmas Day to travel to Yaoundé. There used to be an announcer they called Martin Brown. He posted that question back in the days. What year Mr. George Weah left Liberia and on what day? He left on Christmas Day. A day that everybody is supposed to be celebrating was the day he left. Raising economic opportunity. So the story that he's telling now is connecting to everyone in our country. And we out here, we are only applying the logic that he's talking about. And that logic is many of us decide to leave that country because of economic opportunity. But he's also saying that I'm back. And because I'm back, I understand what the situation has been in this country or have been in this country. Now I'm your president. Whatever missed opportunity that was never given to me and my peer group, I am here to give it to you guys. Now, it is up to the Liberian people. It is up to the opposition to disprove that. But individually, those are all who used to be part of the common class. What the president is saying is that something that relates to where you were before. And this is where I want Liberia to understand that when we are challenging this president, telling this story that really resonates with the people of Liberia is true. There were limited opportunity in our country, mostly for people who came from the additional side. And there were more opportunity for those who find themselves in the minute, the small class that used to be called the elite class. So the president's story resonated with people. It's coming back with the same story from 2017 and it's touching. But the reality now is those who were 10 years old when the president became, how they call it, those who were perhaps 11 or 12 years old, let's say 12, those who were 12 years old when Mr. Weah took office, after 6 years now, they are 18 years and they are considered to be first-time voter. Those first-time voters don't understand, don't know what Mr. Weah went through, How does he get to them? Their parents who experience it, they got to let their children know that you were not born when the men were going through what I went through, because I was part of his generation that went through these things. So how can the president connect his story with the younger generation that are the first-time voter? Because when he became president, they were just 12 years old. That means they were very young. They were very young. It was the time when Eddie was becoming president that when they were born. Now he's coming now to be running for the second time. They are coming now after 12 years now. When he took office, they are 18 years now. So how does he connect? Is by telling his story. But when his story resonates with the people, well, that's where it comes in now with those who are parents of the children, community leader of the children, to be able to connect the story. Because the children don't understand what he went through. And those are things that he had to work towards. But he's telling a very good story. I will say this too. There are some kids who are 12 years old, but they got a mind of a 20 years old because of their engagement with people who are ready on top of the game. So he's connecting that idea to the younger generation. To the older generation, that's a different ball game. But let's see what he will say, and then I will bring that up into the conversation. So let me progress.
They came to you. They're telling you that burning roads and giving free school fees and wires fees and building institutions in this country and making sure our economy is stable, building hospitals and what have you is nothing. What are they coming to do? If they're not building road, if they're not trying to stabilize the economy. I inherited the country with a lot of difficulties. I did not cry because I believe in God Almighty, and I knew that the difficult times, the obstacles, of course, were going to bring the miracles. Today we are here. Liberia is safe. Liberia is good. When the international community were leaving, those soldiers were leaving, everybody said that Liberia will not be in good hands. But how could Liberia not be in good hands when you are the citizen? Today we get peace, it's because of you. Now we are heading to prosperity.
All right, so next thing on the agenda, education, fine. Peace and security. You mentioned about peace and security. Everybody, I would say almost everybody was concerned when the president took office and you were about to leave. Now, when you look at the 6-year time period, I know other people will come and say, oh, there were deaths in the country, there were this, there were that. Of course, when Eddie was president, Charles Green or what his name, or Harry Green died, or they got to call Michael Addison died, and there were a lot of deaths in our country. So as far as people dying, whether they are government official or auditor, these things happen. Our focus should be about the result from the death of those people. And those who are in authority, the citizen got their power to call on their lawmaker to bring to light these guys that they qualify to be what? Heads of the ministry and agency, to do a thorough work to represent the people's interests. But that's something that we're not here to talk about. But when it comes to peace and security, yes, I will give the president a C+ in this one. Education, he got what? I would say just C. All right. But for security, I will give C+. Why? We are seeing things happen in the country that happen in many other countries. 2, the human rights record of the president, it has not been an A+. It has been in the C+, B-. The human rights organization have been keeping eye on African leaders most of the time. There are some little area that we have struggled, but his score from the Human Rights Watch hasn't been very, very bad. So as far as the security goes, Ecomo left, UNB left, he had managed to hold the line. But is the line very strong? Well, what have been happening across the country are things that need to be improved. So he got a case to make. And Liberians, many of you guys, especially opposition, and the security is not just to focus on people who die. What about people that come from the opposition? I remember there were people who were leaving from here, going to Liberia for the first time. They were very, very scared. They were afraid. But after they went there the first time, the second time, they enjoy going there now. They don't come on Facebook to say, oh, well, we're going to Liberia, we'll be afraid, we'll be, no. Those things are not happening now. So that is the reason why his agenda about providing security is something that I would say is a C minus. All right. So let me progress here.
We got more hospital beds than ever before. We cannot go back. This is our time, young people, first time voters. This is our time. This is our movement. Let us seize it. For 171 years, we were the children, hoping that our lives will be okay. We'll have free education. We'll have hospitals around our country. That never happened. It happened in the 5 years that young people took over this country. I said, join me. Join me, Liberians. Join me. The best we can do is to compare. Those that were there 12 years, they have their record already. Yes. And these are the same people that want to come back.
Very important point right there. Very important point. But let me say this. You see the picture? This is a picture perfect that anybody should keep right now. As I throw this screen, I want you to capture this photo. And what I want you, President said, this is our time. This is our future. Back in the days, we were denied many opportunities. First time voter, this is your time. This is your generation. Now, when you look at the faces behind us, President, what do you think is the Irish age over there? I want you to take a look at the faces behind our president. What do you think will be the Irish age behind that? The old people behind the president, majority of them are young people under the age of 30, some in the 30s. But these are people who opportunities need to be given to. So when he come and say, yes, I believe in the future, I see you guys in the future, and I want you guys to join me, that is a political message in my opinion. And I'll be very honest, you know me when I deal with the president. You know me. I know some of you guys are not happy that I give him C minus. And I don't give a damn how you feel. But there are times that when he say things, I see the true representation. Look at the faces behind our president. Those are young people. So by the year 2030, those very people, some of them will come out of the photos. You'll be able to recognize and say, this is me here. So when he said, I had done X, Y, Z for you guys. Now, he's coming down to compare and contrast now. Those who are coming back, irrespective of what they claim they had done for the past 12 years and what we had done for the past 6 years. Look at my record and look at their record. And this is where we need to bring Joe Boca in. So let's bring Joe Boca in here for now. And let's listen to Joe Boca here a little bit. All right? Because we are done enough for President we are now. We'll leave it right there. Let us bring Joe Boca in and let Joe Boca come and tell us what's going on.
Threatened by the same factors that were used by insurgents to destroy the country during the Civil War. Joining us now to discuss the state of the nation of Liberia and his ambition to become the next president of the West African country is Joseph Yuma Boakai, former vice president of Liberia and the presidential candidate of the Unity Party of Liberia.
Now, let me just remind you, Joe Boca was just introduced by this guy you're watching here, former vice president. They did not say a political aspirant. So as former vice president, what does that mean? When Mr. Weah said, they have been here, they got their record, let us compare and contrast. So let's listen to Joe Boca. There will be questions be posted to Joe Boca. What do you think Joe Boca is responsible to be? One, Joe Boca should be able to tell you that, look, 12 years, we managed to solve the problems, whether it was within the agricultural ministry, whether it was in the educational health sector. So whatever Joe Boca is supposed to be discussing, he should be looking at any record that they did for the institution and how it benefited Liberian people. So let's listen to Joe Boca here, folks. Let's listen to Joe Boca. This is Jerry Randy. This is what we do. Because if you can get the kind of analytical understanding of things, the election should be very easy for you to go and say, I'm going to vote for the person, I'm going to vote for the person. This platform is not for any political leader. I'm just giving you the left and the right. That's what I'm giving you guys here. So no hard feeling here. That's me. I'm not looking for a job. I haven't been to that country. So let's listen to Joe Boca a little bit. And then when Joe Boca ends, we will hold a call. We'll start taking calls. And then I want you to call and tell me how much you got from Joe Boca. What sense does he make? And what did you get from George Weah? What sense did he make? So let's listen to Joe Boca and gain the benefit of the doubt. All right?
Morning, and thank you for joining us on the Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, quickly, you've been Minister of Agriculture.
That's right.
You've been Vice President, yes. 2006 to 2018. And now you say you want to be a president. You are 78. The man that is there, George Weah, he may be in the opposition party, but he belongs to a younger generation. What is the ambition? What's the proposition? Why do you think you need to go back there to help the people of Liberia?
Well,
very good question. Very good question. You are serving all the roles. You are 78. What do you think that question is going to focus on, folks? Let me challenge you guys right now. The question I got asked, where is it coming from? Let me give you guys a multiple choices so you can give me the answer. Is he talking about the issue? Is he talking about the solution? Is he talking about the direction? Or is he expecting Joe to explain about his record? I want you to give me the answer. But let's listen to Joe. I'll be watching out for the answer. And whoever come up with that answer, I will tell you say yes, and I will state your name here. Let's go ahead and listen to Joe while I wait for your answer. Remember, the question I was just asked, is it going to focus on Joe Boca solution with Ellen about the 12-year work they did? Is it going to be about the solution? The problem? Is it going to be about the direction? It's going to be about his record. Let me see here quickly who talking about here. Somebody say his record. Thank you very much. Henry Nyango, thank you very much. Let me just post something here. You beat everybody to the curve, Henry Nyango. You said his record. That is good. Yes. That question is about his record. So let's listen as to how he's going to answer that question. You guys are very good. You guys are doing extremely well here. So let's listen to Joe Boca here.
I always say that whatever is chasing you, if it doesn't stop running, you can't stop running. Our country had not seen the kind of leadership that is needed to transform that country. And Mr. Weah is not a person to do it. We knew it, but we gave them the chance to take him. And now we know very well that it's not a test. We know for sure that Weah was not cut up for that. And so we cannot allow our country to degenerate further.
Well, how has Liberia degenerated under the leadership of President Weah? Although I understand he's been away since October watching football.
That's right.
Very smart question there. Very smart question. Because he did not articulate at the beginning of the answer of the question, you should be expecting Joe Boca to say, look, for 6 years, this is where we had a country after I left office. But now this is what Mr. Weah has done. And Boca should be able to specifically state what they did in every sector. A brief summary. Now, the guy decided to specifically ask Joe Boca now and say, you know what? I'm thinking that he might like to talk about the president abroad because this interview was during the World Cup time. And I'm thinking that, so I'm not going to tell you, let me just be upfront with you, Joe Boca. He's out of the country, so don't bring that one in there. Give me something specific that your record of 12 years with Ellen is better than what you just gave me as an answer. Give me something. Don't even talk about the president going to out of the country. Let's listen to what Joe Boga is going to say here, folks.
Attack, but that can be the big problem. What exactly do you?
And I did say that Mr. Weir's presence in the country and his absence were all the same, except that when he's absent, he takes the money away. Mr. Weir, we all know that he was not really cut off for this kind of job. Mr. Weir is doing exactly what he's cut off for. And Liberia, when we were in power, Liberia was removed from being a failed state to a country that was giving hope to the people. We put in better infrastructure. We were able to remove the stigma of a nation that was failing. And right now, you go to Liberia, people who know Liberia, the country has gone backward in every...
Let me hold you right there. It's wanting to make a blanket statement. It's wanting to make a blanket statement. Joe Boga said Mr. Weir was given the opportunity, but the way the country looked like, it doesn't make sense right now. So remember, he's using the word we. When we were in power. So I just want you to keep that in mind, because one time he said he was parked as an old car, right? But now he's saying we. So let's consider the we. He talked about infrastructure. What infrastructure specifically is he talking about? You see, Joe Boga want to be so general, because when he specified the infrastructure, then you will be able to look at what the infrastructure is. It's a road, it's a building, it's the other stuff. Because when you look at Mr. Weir performance too, it's for on the infrastructure. That is road, the hospital he talked about over there. So Mr. Weir was very specific and said we build roads, we build hospital, we did this, we did that. In fact, let's go back to Mr. Weir here quickly here. All right, let's go back to Mr. Weir here and listen to Mr. Weir quickly here.
The least we can do, let us give the other man 12 years so we can compare. So I'm asking you, Liberian people, for my part of 12 years, so you can compare who they want and who the best. I told you that in everything I do, I try to be the best. In 12 years, it's unprecedented. No one. The same party that were in power 12 years ago telling you that they are the best. How could they be the best when everything is scattered? There's no fixer. We are the fixer. There's no rescuer. We are the rescuer.
That's a valid point.
Area.
That is a valid point. Now, that's a valid point. And here's why. All right? Here's why. Joseph Boga is not specifically telling the Liberian people on this interview that, look, as far as infrastructure go, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did this. Now, when you look at Mr. Weir, there's nothing in regards to infrastructure that he has done. So if Boga cannot specifically talk about infrastructure, what specific infrastructure did he and Ellen put together after 12 years? And that infrastructure is so strong, better than that time than the time we are spending in office. To me, he's not doing so well. He doesn't understand whether there was any policy that Ellen carried through. You see, the way listen to Weir discussing, the way you listen to Boga discussing, that is just another form of debate. All we do here is to bring both of them together. Boga should be running on a record, but he's running on a record that he wouldn't give you general statement. Weir is counting his accomplishment by giving you bullet point on things. School, there was nobody there going to school before as the way you guys are going. School at that time was very, very limited. I became a victim. I had to leave to go because there was no economic opportunity. I built hospital. I built roads. The president is listing by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. When you listen to Boga, he is not giving you anything. They're talking about, oh, we did infrastructure. What infrastructure? Because the definition of infrastructure is a very broad, but you got to make it very specific. So let's listen to Boga here again. Let's listen to Boca here. All right? Let's listen to him.
It's all corruption, stealing with impunity. A country that I call is on autopilot because there's no leadership. And we cannot continue to risk the future of unborn generation, not to even mention the ones that are there, young people that just languishing. And so we need to rescue Liberia.
Now, Joe Boga talk about corruption. Joe Boga talk about corruption. As far as Joe Boga infrastructure comparison go, Joe Boga is getting a D plus for that. Why Joe Boga am I giving D plus? Because Joe Boga, all right, Joe Boga did not specifically tell you when earlier I was in office, as far as the infrastructure go. Like President Weah just said, you listen to the president. Let us be there for 12 years. Let's forget about the president additional 12 years. I mean, since you're asking for. The president has listed for you guys what he has specifically done, that his accomplishment. Boca record should be, because Boca should be running on a record while Weah is running on his accomplishment. So it's about accomplishment versus record. So Boca should be coming and say, look, we got a very solid record here. Infrastructure wise, come on. We did this in this place, we did this in the place, we did this in the place, we did that in the place. These are the things that we did. But to just say we did infrastructure. Now, yeah, where he broke his own neck. He spoke about corruption. Can he tell you now what specifically did it do as far as corruption goes? He did not give you any example to say, for example, look, when we were there, John Mullu, our Auditor General, he was a very on top of the game guy. There were a lot of cases that were brought to the House of the Senate, the executive, and we prosecuted people. We exonerate those who were not part of what they were accused of. So as far as our corruption program go, we were so engaging, and the record speaks for itself. We were giving this, and we managed to reduce corruption at this level, and we managed to bring corruption down. But right now, we left corruption fighting at maybe 25% over 100. But guess what? I believe from what I'm seeing now, it's beyond. One, the president had not carried on any prosecution. He had not done nothing, but we did prosecution. Boca is not seeing anything like that. He just talking about, oh, we talk about we did it to corruption. Who? You can get out and say we did it to corruption. But where are the statistics? Where are the data? So you see, Joe Boca's record is struggling to compete with George Weah's accomplishment. Why? Because Boca is not giving you specific instances or things that he and Ellen did. You follow me on this? Let's go ahead and listen to Joe Boca again.
All right. We hear you that we need, or you need to rescue Liberia. What's your plan? I know we talked about the AREST. So can you detail how?
Very good. You see that? Very good. These are people that need to be in our politics, asking specific questions, because the specificity of the question will differentiate the good guy from the not so prepared guy. So thank God to this girl who is asking the detailed question, because if you that Joe Boca, the first two questions from the gentleman feel that Joe Boca was not up to the task. He did not provide specific achievement that support their record. He was very general. So this guy now is saying, you know what? Joe Boca, I don't think he really get what they did for 12 years. So let me just tap into his so-called arrest. I call that so-called because the reason I'm calling that so-called, Joe Boca need to be running on his record. All right? He need to be running on his record of he and Ellen. Because the arresting is something new that he's bringing in, and he's not new to the political football field. This man been in the game for 12 years. So let's listen to what they get. But I believe the girl asked this question because she feel that Joe Boca is not ready answering the question that he deserves to answer. Remember, it's Nigeria. Their democracy is tough. They got multiple well-measured school journalists of people, and their platform compete with each other at the highest level. So asking questions is something that They are very good at. In fact, they have done their due diligence on Joe Walker and his 12 years, and those questions are very specific. All right. So Nigerian, remember, they are one of the most popular country, especially among us African outside of that country called, I mean, that continent called Africa. They are very, very measured. So let's listen to this girl as he posed her question to Joe Walker and how he going to respond.
Right.
To rescue
I came with the rest, and I didn't put 2 arrows because we didn't want to frighten anybody. Arrest, A-R-E-S-T. The immediate plan is to start with what most of the people know in the area I have been in, that is agriculture. Because in agriculture, 70 to 80% of our people, where we were able to raise their lives, produce marketing, where I came from, people were able to send their children to school.
Now, this is where it gets very bad off air, right? And here is why, let me help you guys understand. Joe Walker, at the beginning of this conversation or interview, they list every position he served. That is considered his record. Now, 12 years with Ellen. 12 years with Ellen. Joe Walker should be able to tell the Liberian people. You see, it would be very okay if Joe Walker were not vice president for 12 years. Then we say, you know what? Walker worked at LPRC, LPMC, Administration of Agriculture. Those are the experience he's coming with. He'll be coming with experience. All right? He'll be coming with experience. But Joe Walker served in a policy role at the very top of the country leadership. So when he talk about agriculture, Joe Walker should be able to tell you and I, look, as far as arrests go, this is something that my collaboration with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, I will focus on agriculture. This is what we did in the agriculture sector with Ellen. We did X, Y, and Z. And the agriculture sector was booming. But you know what? I'm bringing in another component to even boost that, what Ellen and myself accomplished. But what Joe Walker is doing, he is separating his arrest from he and Ellen 12 years accomplishment as he relate to agriculture. Joe Walker should be telling the Liberian people what he and Ellen did as far as the Unity Party-led government for 12-year policy towards agriculture. So whatever letter that he speak of from that arrest, he should be able to tell the Liberian people what significant impact he and Ellen did. Because all the letter he gave me, they are also part of the infrastructure that he and Ellen managed for 12 years. So if Joe Walker cannot break those things down and say, this is what we did, this is what we did, but he want to come in, Joe Walker want to present himself in this election as somebody who is just coming out of those past job experience and never served for 12 years. So as far as the record goes, you see, I told you guys always and yesterday, this election will be about the issue. It will be about the problems. I mean, the issue / the problems. It will be about the solution. It will be about the direction. And then also, people will be running on their records and on their accomplishment. Joe Walker is yet to link any success between he and Ellen that support what he wants to do. So how can Joe Walker come now and want to discuss the agriculture sector when he and Ellen was there for 12 years? He either got to say, you know what, Ellen fucked things up. Excuse my French. I'm not going to follow Ellen policy. She messed things up. I'm going to be my own thing here. But he cannot do that because that would put him at a disadvantage point. Because people will say, okay, at what point did you see that Ellen was messing things up, that you did not resign? He doesn't want to do that. So again, he's running away from he and Ellen record. He's running away. Remember the late John McCain, when Obama told him, say, you cannot run away from George Bush record because you are a Republican and you supported most of the policy that George Bush made. So, Mr. McCain, you cannot run away from that policy. That's what Joe Walker is trying to do here. Joe Walker cannot run away from Ellen policy. He was part of it. Because if you look at some things that, what are the executive orders? Joe Walker was part of Ellen when executive order was passed. Joe Walker was part of Ellen when legislative laws, 66 Booker deal were passed, and you name it. So he can't run away from anything to come. What Joe Walker is trying to do, he wants to bring himself in as a candidate that never sat with Ellen for 12 years. So when he talks about arrest, that thing should be coming from someone like Cummings. That thing should be coming from someone like Tewo Gongolo. That thing should be coming from someone like Clarence Moneyba. Because these people have now sat in an authority that the Liberian people gave them to, and they never did anything. They are rookie coming to the power. And that's what we are is trying to say, you know what? I was there, I did this, I did that, I did this. And he bullet pointing those things. But Boka cannot do those things. Sorry for the over talking here, but I just want to make sure that you guys get this thing and get it very crystal clear. All right? Let's listen.
But we believe that agriculture will not do well if you don't have good roads. So we go to the R and we talk about roads. I think Mr. Weir misunderstood me when I said road number 1, road number 2, road number 3. I was not talking about this community.
You see why he frozen over that? They are asking him about his own plan. This is not we are on the other side and Boka on the other side. Because Boka is not focused. Boka know that he and Ellen fail. That is why. Because this is an opportunity where Boka is supposed to say, you know what? The platform is all mine. These people here, they are just asking me a question. So guess what? During our days with Ellen, when it comes to roads, we did the roads. Look, we have 15 counties in our country, right? We bust road from Morovia to this county to that county. We bust another road from the county to the other county. Those facts are there. They are the record that I'm running on. So whatever we are saying, he doesn't have that record. Yeah, the record. This is the amount of road that we built. This is the amount of road we reconstructed. So when it comes to infrastructure, because remember, he spoke about infrastructure, but he couldn't break it down for infrastructure. Now he coming to about interpretation. We are talking about practicality, not interpretation. So you see, Joe Boka is doing a very poor job here on the interview here. And there's no way that Joe Boka can even have a conversation with Cummings. Because what Joe Boka is demonstrating here, I hope the ANC people are watching. Because if there's any conversation between Joe Boka and Cummings and say, look, Joe, you don't even understand your own record. Is it because it messed up? This conversation is not between Joe Boka and George Weah. No, Joe Boka should be focused on his record with Ellen, what they had done. Because whatever Weah is doing right now are things that Joe Boka and Ellen did for 12 years. So why can't he look? So when you listen to the president, let them bring their record so that we can bring our record. That is the debate. That is the conversation the president is put. That's the challenge he's putting out there. And Boka cannot even present himself in our shape and form. Let me progress here, folks.
Roads, and just for the sake of putting something maybe and making money. I'm talking about roads that are very strategic to development. Roads, farm to market roads that help to reduce prices because of the possibility of people moving with commodities and keeping prices low, roads that are able for medical facilities and even for education.
You see, Joe is explaining like a rookie into politics. What I want you guys to understand is Joe was there for 12 years. So on the road he's talking about, he should be able to give us a timeline of the accomplishment that he and Eddie managed to put into place. But the way he explaining, it's like, oh, if I get there, these are things that we're going to be doing. No, Joe Boka should be saying, look, this is what we did for 12 years. S, Y, Z, A, B, and C. 1, 2, and 3. These are the things we did. But he's explaining, I have to say that he never sat in that position of policy making at all. He never sat down with a president that talk about policy. So you see, Joe Boka doesn't want to run on any record. Why? Because Boka know in 2017 that record was the reason why he got defeated. So there's no way that Joe Boka will run on any record. So people of Liberia, Joe Boka has two options. He can come out and say, look, Ellen fucked things up. I'm not going to run on her record. And just quietly tell the Liberian people that. And say, now that she messed things up, I'm in the place, I'm going to do everything new. That is the catch right there. You either say it and you go and do your own thing, but you cannot hide from it. There were money given to their government for 12 years. They pretended to have a program, and he never did none of those things. Let's listen to him again.
Under E, arrest, education. The number of children that we had in school had dropped drastically. Firstly, because of the lack of good teachers, access to good schools, children sitting on the floor, and there's nobody that even has the feeling that life is beyond them. Then you go to...
All right. So when he talk about education, children dropping from school, this one, guys, you should be able to answer that. And your answer should be, but Boka, what rate of percentage that you and Eddie had this education throughout the country? What percentage was that? Was it 25, 30, 45%? And where is that percent today? He's only telling story. What Boka is saying is like what Tewo Kongolo would say, what Cummings would say. But Joe Boka is the vice president. He was there for 12 years. He should be running on the record. He should be running on the record. When Joe Biden was trying to run during the Ebola time, he said, look, we believe in the science. The science that showed that 30% of XYZ. When we were there and we had the Ebola, these are the steps we put in place to prevent Ebola from happening because we listen to the scientists. We regionalize the different airport learning, and we make sure that we look at the different African countries and the geography of people in different states, and we're able to apply the data that came out of that science, and it did work in curving down the Ebola in this country. Now that we are faced with COVID-19, we believe that the scientists that will give up what we deserve will be able to manage it. Today, Joe Biden believed in what he and Obama did as part of their record in managing epidemic. And today, Joe Biden is there. COVID has gone down. Why? Because Biden was very specific in he and Joe Biden strategic plan to put in place with the support of the scientists out there. And that record is what Joe Biden used to convince Americans that they could handle adequately the COVID-19. When you listen to Joe Boka talking about the issue of education, the question here is, Joe Boka, you and Ellen were there for 12 years. The last time we checked, Ellen said the education system was a mess. She tried all the other different means through her former education minister, John Warner. I mean, or how do you call it, George Warner. Nothing works. So how would Joe Boka come in and say, oh, there were no more drop in the place, no more drop? How can you give a blind data without any evidence? Now you see what I was saying to President Weah, that they need to provide data, because the information Joe Boka is giving, if President Weah can come on and say, look, when we took office, the educational performance of our country was at this percentage. Now, after 6 years, this is what we had done. Joe Boka will be out of conversation when it comes to any area if everything is done in that perspective. And that's the expectation. So he just giving the Liberian people an empty talk. And that's why these guys that sit on the different platform, these are information they're not giving to you guys. And it's becoming embarrassing for our overall performance as a country. We need to be able to stand on the issue, because what Joe Boka is saying here, he's not even identifying the issue, or perhaps he talked about it, but the solution, he's not providing the solution that he and Ellen did. Let's listen here, guys.
For the S sanitation, we are in developing country. We are not advanced in curative medicine. But if you keep the communities clean, if you take sanitation and keep the people in the rural community, you give them clean environment, and even in the urban area, if you go to Monrovia today, everywhere is garbage, everywhere.
So then what did you and Ellen do? What did you and Ellen do when you were with her for 12 years? What measure did you guys put in place? And how successful was that measure? So Joe Burger should be saying, look, you know, the issue of garbage, when we were there, man, look at the city. Our city was clean. We did X, Y, and Z. That one, I will give it to him. But he cannot even articulate that. Because when Mary Brown was down there under the LA administration, you saw how the city was very measured, right? So let's give that to Joe Burger. Even though he didn't say it, the reason we're giving it to him is to just simply tell you that Joe Burger got no clue about where he and Ellen failed and where he and Ellen did well. So let's give it to him. So guys, if you want to participate, the phone is on. Please give me a call. We are now ready to take your call and see how the issue tonight with George Weah and Joe Burger. So we'll let the tape be rolling for Joe Burger while we await your call. All right?
Good health start with good environment. So then you talk about LRT tourism. Liberia has the possibility for tourism. And that tourism combined with the hospitality industry will create some jobs for the young people immediately. They'll be able to.
Again, the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism did not open up on a wheel. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism was under and was existing, functioning under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. What Burger should be telling you is when we were out there running the country or ran the country for 12 years, that ministry, the culture, the tourism, these are the things that we managed to do. But it is not being done at this time because Weah is not doing X, Y, and Z. So he's not drawing comparison. He's only giving the capability of what that ministry can do. But I'm saying to you that Joe Burger shouldn't be saying those things. Why? Because Joe Burger served with Ellen for 12 years. The success that they gained, the accomplishment that they managed to get, all put together, make Joe Burger to have a record to run on. But has he said anything in regards to what he's talking about, the arrest, that he can relate and link and apply to what he and Ellen have accomplished? Absolutely not. So Joe Burger, in my opinion, the only thing Joe Burger will get C- in, just C, is the issue of the sanitation. And that C is given to him by you out there and me, because we all saw what Mary Brown did physically, because she was cleaning her stuff. We saw that. But because Joe Burger cannot articulate very well, he does not have what it takes to support and defend what he and Eddie managed to do. Joe Burger today is struggling to answer those questions. So let's listen to the VP here, and then we'll go back to the president.
To rural community in the cottage industry, they'll be able to give the young people a job in the management of hotels and things that will give them the confidence that there is a future for them.
All right. So I would like to delve into the politics of Liberia, going back to the post-war politics of Liberia and how things are pretty much run. And a lot of people are also saying that you are part of the old guard. And why are you trying to run in a country that is largely dominated by young people? You served in Samuel Doe's government. And President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf couldn't openly endorse you while the elections went on and on, because it was stated that she come out to say that I'm not supporting any of the two candidates when he went to runoff, before the incumbent president, George Weah, got in. So a lot of people are saying you're part of the old guard, and what is this vendetta? That things are not probably as you say they are, but they also agree to the fact that yes, there's been massive corruption and all of that, but what new are you going to bring to Liberia? Because you are part of the old guard. You've been in and out of the circle of...
That is the problem. These guys are very well measured. That is why Joe Boca failed to acknowledge that he had been part of a system that did not provide better record for him to defend today. And that's why the guys are asking this question. Because Joe Boca experienced, after leaving office as vice president for 12 years, he should be running on that record. He should be running on his experience as LPNC managing director. He should be running on his experience as LPRC managing director. He should be running on his experience as former minister of agriculture. And then he should be running on he and Ellie record. What did they do? But Joe Boca just told you guys story. He telling you that, oh, you know what? When I was agriculture minister, this is what I did. This is what I did as agriculture minister. Look, we did X, Y, and Z. The records are there. The reports are there. LPRC, this is what I did. But nowhere can Joe Boca actually tell you what did he accomplish individually, what did he and Ellen manage to accomplish that gave him that record. He is not. And that's why this guy, after the two colleagues of his asked this question about Joe Boca discussing a record, the third guy now decided to say, okay, since you don't want to be very honest with the bad record you got, why don't I be very honest? You are from a system that did a lot of things that were not pleasing. Now you want to be part of the new generation. Why he's simply trying to tell Joe Boca, you got a very bad record, poor performance. Why would you want to be in the future? When you listen to Joe, we are saying to the young people, this is your time. This is your future. Give me the opportunity. This guy is telling Joe Boca, you are not part of that future. Why? Because your record has shown that you have been a future killer, not a future of hope. So why do you want to come here? Let's listen to Joe Boca again explain himself here, folks.
Since 83, since the Doe time.
Yes, but I also have a record that goes with me. I served, and once I was asked that why can you do as president that you couldn't do as vice president, and I said, if you want to see a race car, you put it on the racetrack, not in the garage. As vice president, the Constitution is well unclosed to say.
Well, hold on there, guys. Hold on there. Didn't Joe Boca at the beginning of the conversation say, we did this, we did that? So same when the we that he was so actively using now has become a race car park in the garage. You see, Joe Boca is not, let me tell you this. The problem with Joe Boca had never participated in any election other than the one that he lost in 2017. Remember this, Joe Boca, like Alexander Cummings, they are always been appointed. They are always been appointed. So they never ran for office. So as far as the kind of political conversation go, how to really prepare yourself, remember, Joe Boca never became senator representative. He never did those things. So as far as him going to do those things, it's very difficult. He cannot maneuver, his mind cannot maneuver to answer this question. That is one of the problems that he has as well. He never got to participate in any electoral process. That's why, just to add that, that's why he had an issue with your heart. Because he never participated. So he's doing an extremely poor job here today. Very, very poor job. All right? A very, very poor job. Now, let me progress here.
The vice president presides over the Senate without a vote, except there's a tie. A vice president assists the president. To assist the president is a matter of choice, whether the president wants to be assisted or not. And my records show that I assisted the president very well. The fact that she went the way she went, well, she knows it better than I. But I belong to Liberia, that's my country, and I have a right.
Joe Boca, you have the right constitutionally to do things, but you should be telling the Liberian people about your record. And I hope that whether it is the ANC, the sedition, they should go after Joe Boca for his record. Because right now, Joe Boca is not telling anybody anything concrete here about his record. His record is non-existent. He has none. He's behaving like Clarence Monimba. He's behaving like Tewo Gongo. He's behaving like Alexander Cummings. But he's not. This man got 45 years that people brag about being in public service. And he cannot even articulate what he managed to accomplish. What he managed to accomplish. He's answering questions. I have to say that he just came out of the classroom and never worked in government before. Look, folks of the Unity Party, I don't mean anything, but this is what J. Randy does. All right? We must be able to understand these political candidates in order for our people to make an informed decision. Now you'll see how you're enjoying the conversation. You're providing your own sense of understanding of Joe Boca. Do you think if we have the opportunity to talk to people in Liberia, you see how our mindset is different? Because Joe Boca doesn't even know what he's talking. You guys now are writing things that you can see. Only in the interview, you can tell that Joe Boca is not prepared to be anything. Joe Boca has performed poorly here tonight. He got a D- right now. D-. Why don't we switch? Let's switch more and go to President Weah and listen to him here. All right? Let's listen to the president here.
I will not be personal, but I will tell you, Liberian people, if you can't trust anybody, you can trust me. I've never been ashamed to live with you. I live in your communities. I walk around in your communities. I know what is going on. That's what I'm doing my best. My utmost best to make sure that you, in a very decent environment, the community, when I came the other day, we walked in the mud. You told me that you want a place to be paved. And I said to you, give me a few weeks. I am talk and do. We drove right back there. You can see that your road is paved. And don't worry. Don't worry about you need legitimacy. You are Liberians. Trust me, honor my regime. Single Oro, Invisible Power, those people, they have legitimacy. We will give you that thing right. Because you are Liberian. I am the president. I'm going to go to the land authority to speak to them. That Liberians live on the land. This is a public land, then we must give it to them because they are citizens. I'm not saying it because today we are campaigning. I said it before at Invisible Park and they have their... Thank you for telling me. I will make sure that you, if there's a place you like, and it's a government land, you are citizen, government will do everything to make sure that you have that place. I came to you for the late Judah parents to vote for him. You voted for him, may so rest in peace.
Let's try to speed this up.
From Mosrado County. Sir Joseph was working for me. Don't play with, I will stay here. So the Josephine giving people rights and democracy. How can that man be insulting me and a brother working with us to develop you? Bring people that are responsible, and I tell you, bro, let me count there. That is injustice to the development of this country. I was a political leader for CDC, where we live, me and my uncle. It's rehab of money. Today, rehab is all paid. It's in our 5 years. It's in our 5 years. But they come to us as friends to say, thank you for building the road. When I was there, I couldn't do it because there's too much opinion. You see me, I listen to opinion, but at the same time, I listen to my intuition. I do the things that I'm doing.
So let me just say this quickly, since you guys don't want to call here. One thing the president just said here is the power of authority. The role he talked about, the mandate he talked about, the intuition. If he believed that something is the right thing to do, he will come out and say, I will do it. Even though I get what you guys are saying. As far as the role go, I'm going to focus on role. So he is a leader who I believe in this particular conversation that he said, this is it, and I'm going to do it. Now, when it comes to Joe Boca keep beating around the bush. Instead of Joe Boca saying, look, the alien I work for, we did not do enough for the Liberian people. Let me be straight with you guys. There were areas that we struggled. But Boca is not willing to be truthful like the way we are is. So somebody of that kind of type doesn't believe that he has the power of authority to make decisions. And that's why Joe Boca is struggling here. Let's listen to the president a little bit more here, and then we'll go to Joe Boca here.
I know people advise me that if you build a road now, it will not be okay. Wait again for a second term. No. Let us do it now. So tomorrow we can do something else. You understand? So I listen. I listen to everybody that work with me. But you see, I also dialogue with them and say, no, everything has time. If we're in a position now to do this, let us do it. Maybe tomorrow something will happen. You see the the military hospital? Remember when I was trying to build the military hospital, there were a lot of opinions. Everybody, they may not get sent. You look at the man. How you want to put a hospital to that multi-place, how they call it? Yeah. Do you know that in the war, around the war, that people put homes in the middle of the sea? Then the place that have land and you saying that, oh, a more than water? Which one can take land? Which one can take development? But people get homes in the water. If they can put homes in the water, what about mud? He can build that kind of hospital. But you see, when I tell you say I'm a prophet, you'll say, oh no. You know what I'm saying there? You know what I'm saying there? Because when I've been in the hospital, they were just talking. You know, nothing, but guess what? As soon as the hospital finished, Corona came. And that hospital saved all of the ministers that will have Corona that went in there and save our people. So,
and that's a fact. So when it comes to the president making critical decision, because what he explained that is nothing but critical decision, a decision that will handle critical situation back home or in any place. We have critical times. We got to make critical decision. So what he's talking about is all critical decision. A critical decision that people will look at it as risk taking, but he believed in going the critical way in some instances. What make it critical? People were saying, look, it's going to put a dent on you. It kind of remind me of Obama trying to bring the universal health care. And then the other Democrats saying, oh, you keep dragging on with the healthcare thing here, it's going to mess you up. And then right in that time, they created a blue-collar Democrat. The Blue Dog Democrat, rather. The Blue Dog Democrat came out, and people were like, well, where did Blue Dog Democrat coming from? Because many of them at that time were benefiting from the pharmaceutical industry. They never wanted to reshape the universal health care. Obama did not win that battle, but at least he came out with the affordable health care. Today, few people are enjoying it, including people who support Trump as well. That was a critical decision or a risk-taking process, because the risk Democrats are looking at, man, look, if you don't follow what we're telling you, you could be a one-term president. But Obama said, look, I believe in what I'm looking after. My mom died from cancer because this opportunity we're not giving. I don't know where we ever have it again. Today we have that affordable health care. Mr. Weir is saying, look, I knew people were saying we didn't know what we're doing. Rules, this, we didn't know what we're doing, but I believe that our hospital was going to pay dividend. And guess what? That military hospital, we saw communists coming out of that military hospital, dressed like some kind of J. Rajo guy with t-shirt, collar off, flipping over with that shit. And he said he was clear today, come here, living healthy life. So that critical decision he took, he considered what people were telling him, but he went in there. That is the power of identifying what is in the interest of the people, it is called the priority list. But Boka, on the other hand, cannot say, you know what, the thing that we did, it outcome the risks or the critical decision or come the risks. He cannot tell you which one he did or he and Ellen did. But at times he will tell you, we did this. Then you come back another time again, then he will say, I did this. No, you are contradicting yourself. You got to be very persistent, consistent with the messages. And that's what we're trying to do here, folks. So let's listen here.
So you see, I will come to you and say I'm a prophet. But you see, I will not come to lie to you because God in heaven is watching. Everything I do, I have the fear of God. All of y'all that come to me, even though we get government school, and you don't want to go come to private school, you're coming to me. I do these things now because somebody did it for me. Remember, I was a hustler, going around from one place to another place. You understand? It's in the same position you're in, and I'm the president. So every opportunity you see today, I'm doing it because I felt that way before.
I say this to you guys. The way the president is speaking to the people, the massive, that message is resonating. One, the way the president speaks, every Liberian, whether you're at the top of the pyramid, the middle of the pyramid, or at the basement of the pyramid, you will understand that one advantage the president has, the way he relates to the people. There are some candidates that kind of want to speak the civilized English. Guess what? You are only appealing to the civilized people. The common people cannot understand. But when the president speaks to the bottom people, it also gets to the top people because the top people were one time at the bottom. Every Liberian that was born in our country and live in our country and left between 15 to 18 years old, you cannot tell me that you cannot understand what the president is saying unless you just want to be somebody. So as far as the president communication to his people goes, he doing extremely well with that. And he really keeping it very firm too. And I liking that too. So that made progress.
So it's not the college. So today I'm telling you, first time voter the we are sharing, fellow Liberian, even if you are opposition here, you know that these children that left us, they left us, and today they're asking you to move us so they can come back. They cannot come back here because they got nothing to do. They have nothing to do. What we our father Bouaka, what Bouaka will do for this country. Bouaka have never developed himself in the 40 years that he worked in government.
There you go.
So how can a man develop?
That is the fight. And that's why you see what the president just said. When you listen to that interview from Bouaka, he cannot articulate what he accomplished, what impact it had at LPMC, LPRC, and the Ministry of Agriculture. So the president is right. He putting the challenge out to him individually now. Individually, you and myself. Because Bouaka cannot come and tell you right now, say, look, guys, when I was at LPMC, this is what we did. I mean, this is the program. And when you envision the program, it's like, wow, you guys did already, Bouaka? Yes. Man, when you were alone, you really had a command to do things. But Bouaka cannot even tell you when he was serving as agriculture minister, director of LPRC, director of LPMC. What did he do that would say, you know what? All right, Bouaka, you park like an old car there, yeah? Okay, but the thing that you did, we seen it, we got evidence of that. Nothing. And that's why the president is going up to. So the president now is challenging Bouaka record, his individual record, and he and Ellen record. Stand no chance. He cannot do anything in that regard. Let him end it. We'll go back to Bouaka.
Develop you. He's not a successful man. He's not successful. So you cannot be successful with him because he doesn't know success story. He doesn't know success story.
That's true. And let me put that into context. When you listen to Bouaka on that interview, he's not giving you what performance that they put into place and they managed to achieve. Because your achievement bring about your success story. But if you never achieve anything, but rather want to tell a story, then you are just beginning to tell people what you're going to do to achieve something. And that's why I kept saying he's not like Clarence Moneyba. He's not like Alexander Cummings. He's not like Tewo Gongolo. And the reason I'm bringing the characters in, these guys did not serve as vice president or a president that were there for 12 years. Tewo, Clarence is serving other positions. They don't have that 45 years of experience. Their accomplishment might be less than a guy who got 45 plus 12 years that total to what? 57 years. So how does he tell his success story? To apply that success word the president using should be coming from Joe Boca records. What he did at LPMC, what he did. You see, someone like Mary Brown, if Mary Brown participated in the election, you know what you would say about her record? When I was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you know what I did that in the passport division? Go there, my record are there. I did boom, 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 boom. When the president brought me to City Hall, you know what I did to City Hall? Go ask the City Hall official, ask the people of Liberia who saw my leadership. Boom, 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 boom. Joe Boca cannot do those things. He cannot do those things. That is the problem with Joe Boca right there. So when the president says he doesn't have a success story, the president is right, because Joe Boca does not have a record that will make him to be somebody who was successful. That is what the president is trying to say. Again, friends, I'm not here to praise the president here. Like I told you guys, he didn't call me, and he doesn't call me. I'm not going to campaign for him, and I'm not going to consider him to be a very good president. I feel that he's very mean and he's very selfish. Until he make that call, I will always say it in his face that he's very mean and he's very selfish, because we got him to where he is today. However, if he is saying the right thing, the Liberian people need to understand from me that he's saying the right thing. There are some characteristics that he got. I have to make sure that I will see as his weakness, and I will make sure I explain it to him. If he improve on it, the day I get a call from him, I will kind of say, look, guys, the president gave me a call. I think I'm okay with what we discussed. I'm fine. I will still be doing what I'm doing. If he does the right thing, I will praise him. If he does the wrong thing, I will also criticize him. I'm not going to change. But I will let you guys know on the platform that what he has said here and what we listen to Boca is struggling right now. So let's listen to the president here again.
Point 9, asking for the 40 years that he worked in government, he was minister, agriculture minister, APRC director. Ask him what he achieved. Even in the 12 years as vice president, what is the achievement?
Good.
And then when I said that, when I was senator Monserrado County, I built a road. Yes, Lockington Road, Corway Road. Who built it?
You see how the president is listing things that he did? You see how he listed things? Those are things that Boca cannot list, because Boca did not accomplish those things. When we ran against Boca, campaign against Boca in 2017, my role was to clearly do what Mr. Weir is saying today. Maybe that one reason he didn't consider me anymore. Because we were looking at what Boca failed not to transfer from one position to another position. Eugene Fagon's role was different. My role at that time was looking at Boca cannot transfer his experience from one capacity to another. And that's exactly what the president is coming from right now. And Boca is proving it right now. He's proving it. Yes.
It's the Monserrado County legislator. The senator, I was the chief. And I said, we'll build a road, we'll build a markets there. We build those things. So when I said the on Facebook, say, well, how come the mayor not the president? No, I was not president, but I was a caucus chair. Every money that we took from the government, we take that money, and I'll tell you the truth, we go to a section, we sit down, we argue. I said the money, if not go to the Liberian people, not go nowhere. And that's how we build all these things. And then I can boast of it, and you tell me that how he boasting that he didn't want to build a road. Yes, I built a road in Lockington. I faced that place in Corwell. I faced that place. And Sir Joseph is the senator.
So as far as individual accomplishment go, guys, so the president looking at his role as a senator, and he's talking about accomplishment. What about Joe Boca, LPMC, LPRC, Minister of Agriculture? What did he specifically do? What program did he put in place? How can he relate to the program? If he ran a program, tell us. If he implemented any kind of strategy, tell us. But the man cannot tell you anything. He cannot tell you anything. He just telling you what's going to happen or what the rule means or what a particular area means. He cannot tell you none of those things. Let's go back to Joe Walker here, folks, so we can close it up for the night. Let's go to Joe Walker here. Yes, let's go to the old man here.
Traditionally, to run for president, because I still believe that there are a lot I can offer that country that I have not been given the chance to do. And that's my right constitutionally.
Really? What love has they given him that he said they never gave him? He served in a capacity as LPMC, but up to now, he has never told you guys what he did in that role to benefit the local production of food in the country. Nothing he did. He was giving the role at LPRC. Nothing he did. He served as agriculture minister. Nothing he did to explain to you guys what did he do. He cannot tell you what he did in that role. He can even give one example. But he's talking about his constitutional right to be vice president. Is that constitutional right? Then that means that everyone you gotta listen to me too. You can get come and say, "Oh, J. Randy, I have a constitutional right to run against Josh Real." Oh yeah, but come on. But is that sufficient to make you to be elected by the people? No. Not to mention he having over 57 years of experience, and then now he's talking about his constitutional right. That's not what the man was saying. The man was trying to tell him in an opinion comment, expecting him to say, look, the man said, you've been in government for all these years. Samuel, can you do this one? Why make you think that you're better than this? And he cannot even go back to say, look, at LPMC, I did this. Agriculture Minister, LPRC Director, I did all of these things. These are fortress of experience that I have. This is going to make me to be better. Not to mention adding 12 years, our record, did X, Y, and Z. Joe Walker cannot even explain it.
Okay, sir. Let me ask you this. Do you have the support of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf? We have all of that issue when a road was commissioned, and the road you had superintended over it on the way to Lofa County, which
the Liberian people, she made is US dollars a bag culture. If 70 to 80% of the people.
All right, guys, we are come all the way now to this half-hour mark of the night. We'd like to say a big thank you to you guys for taking your time out and listening to us here today. We did a side-by-side comparison in my true analysis tonight. Joe Walker is not ready. He doesn't even understand why he wants to be president. He cannot articulate his past performance. He cannot defend any record. And from what I'm seeing, he's going to struggle. If Joe Walker was going to the poll tomorrow, I would find it very difficult to convince any Liberian to run for Joe Walker or to support Joe Walker. You see, these guys who are masquerading around here acting like Joe Walker this, when you hear them speaking about any kind of program, whether it's the economy, infrastructure, security, the environment, they are only telling you their own thing that they will know. I mean, that they know that Joe Walker will never talk about. Joe Walker got no performance record. Joe Walker cannot articulate anything that he and Ellen did to compare. Maybe after tonight, they will go and regroup themselves, re-engineer themselves, and start to come. But tonight, Joe Walker only talk about the problems. And we know we all got to look at problems, right? But as far as the solution, there were no solution and there were no direction. As far as Mr. Weir goes, the problem he identified, the education, the security, and the direction he want to take the country. He believed that the young people, the first-time voter, the future of them to have better education, to have better health care. Those are the few things he mentioned. He believed in himself that he will be making decisions that will benefit them, even though he will listen to people around him. However, he believed that whatever benefit the future generation, he is ready to take that critical decision or the risk associated with what he has done. And he has that confidence now because he had done it in the first half of his administration. Now, when he is given the power for the second time, He's going to use that same strength because that critical decision is his strength because it paid dividends. Cummings then can today say, I was safe from COVID when I went to the military hospital. People can say we're driving on this road across the different counties because of XYZ. So tonight, Mr. Weir is walking away from here with a C plus. I'm giving Mr. Weir a C plus, not a B minus, not a B plus, neither a plus or A minus, because there are some leftover things and those things fall back on his ministers. So we will be looking at other videos going forward tomorrow. If you have any video, whether it's Clarence, Modiba, no, I don't want to bring this guy in there. I'm not trying to be politically discriminatory here, but I'm looking at Boca, I'm looking at Cummings, and I'm looking at President Weir. All right, maybe a little bit of Teo Gonglo, but those three guys are my top priority. All right, George Weir 1, Boca 2, Cummings 3, maybe Teo Gonglo be in the 4th quadrant. But those are the guys that I'm looking forward to. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say a big thank you for joining me here this evening. I don't know why you guys did not call into the show, but I'd like for you guys to have your comment, unless you're not sure about what you want to say, because it could go either way. It's I don't want to show I go say something then when it ain't where then you really can be my voice back, but you'll be part of history. But again, if you want to be that George Weir, believe in yourself. So I will call that show and I will make my comment. Who knows? Maybe whatever you will say could come to pass. So I'd like to say a big thank you to every one of you guys. Don't forget, we are hoping this coming Sunday to broadcast into Liberia. All right, into Liberia. Like I said, the first initiative, I will run the first initiative. And then after that, next month, I'll be looking forward to your contribution so that we can get prepared for that. You want me to be in the middle? I'm in the middle now. But I do need your support as well. So I'd like to say a big thank you to every one of you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Perhaps 7:30. I always say 7:30, but sometimes I get caught up. But we will not pass 8:30. But I'll be between 7 to 7:30. If you don't see me 7:30, I will appear 8:30. That will just be between there. But we'll try to keep it at 7:30. But because of the summertime, there are a lot of activities. Some don't go down until 8:30, 8:45. So there are a lot of things going out there that we can not resist. So just bear with us here and we'll do the best. Let me know if you listen to me on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching me on Facebook, please share the video. Let your brother and sister be informed so that when the election time comes, they can make an informed decision. Because any mistake they make, you have to bear the consequences. All right? God bless you guys. J. Randy is out of here. And good night to every one of you guys. Henry Yango, you can stick in there at your business. We are out of here. All right? All right. So bye, guys. Bye-bye.